戦闘開始
捧げよう
捧げようタイトルチェック
You guessed it, folks. Today, we're going to have a fun episode.
Fun, punchy, action-packed, something. We're
Yes.
going to go.
We're going to be talking about Attack on Titan, but we're not going to go too much and talk about the past. Instead, we're going to look towards the future. We're going to talk a little bit first in the first half about some recaps, things we like about it, set the kind of context of what we think so far. And then we're going to spend the second half talking about how we think Season 4 Part 2 is going to end. What kind of things will happen.
No, that's not what we're going to do. This is a trailer reaction.
We are now
going to watch the trailer frame by frame, and we're going to not break anything down. We're just going to make faces. I'm going to express things, and then he's going to describe what I'm expressing, and vice versa. It's going to be fun.
Raph eyes have doubled in size as he finds out that Gabby dies.
Then Sam frowns and grabs his jaw as he considers what Eren is fighting.
All right. Before we go into a quick recap, which intro is your favorite from which season?
Oh, you're asking me a question that presumes I remember any intro that isn't just the first one.
Then that means the first one is your favorite, Raph.
I think I might have actually preferred the season 4 first half intro. I just don't remember it.
Wow.
But in terms of which ones I actually remember, the first one, so let's go with that.
Okay. Well, everyone I've talked to for the season 4, they're always like, that's the exact same answer. At first, I didn't like it. And then
that's a lot of intros. Well, sometimes like HBO intro, they just freaking knock it out of the park every time. But a lot of times with an intro, it's just whatever, and then you eventually grow to like it.
I don't know. Boku no Senso was like, at first you're like, explosions,
Boku
no
no Senso
anime.
being...
The intro for season 4 part 1.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I mean, I know what that is, but I'm just saying that some of our audience might not know what that is.
Okay. Boku no Senso. Listen to it on Spotify.
This is where you say Raph is nodding his head in a way that means that he probably doesn't actually know what Boku no Senso is.
Anyhow, just a quick little question. I suppose I'll try to do a quick recap of Attack on Titan.
Go for it.
Eren hates Titans.
And that's pretty much it.
Eren is Titan.
Okay.
Other people are Titans.
This is a very interesting poem you're making.
Eren hates them because they are Titans. Eren wants to kill every Titan, but turns out what he really hates are people.
Dum, dum, dum.
It turns out there's a full set of people on a different land that are trying to kill them, and they're the ones causing all the stuff.
The stuff.
Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on the recap here.
This is a high-level recap for anyone who has never heard of Attack on Titan.
The most useless, just useless recap.
Excellent.
Alright, well, let's just go into... We expect that you guys are either manga readers who have read the whole thing, or that you've at least watched Season 4 Part 1, and you're interested in hearing our stupid thoughts about how it's going to end. So, let's first talk about just, like, what are things that you like about Attack on Titan with focus on Season 4?
Specifically about Season 4, being honest, I don't like it. So, yeah, that's really the end of that conversation. No, it's hard to. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I watched it. I wouldn't say I like because that depends on whether or not they stick the landing. But I'm very interested and intrigued by the tone shift. Like time jump, these characters are completely different than we remember them, and like the interest this whole Marley thing is intriguing me, and I'm kind of interested to see where it ends. I actually don't really care too much about the history of how Titans came to be. I know that's a shocker. Most people are like, how did Titans come to be? And I'm like, I don't really care. But I want to see where they're driving towards. I'm interested. And I've heard people say that at least from the manga, that it was a controversial ending.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what that is.
Well, yes. There are scenes that really stand out to me. So in season 4, I really, really like the Nutcracker scene.
What is the Nutcracker scene?
The Nutcracker scene, I'm sure some of you guys are chuckling now. The Nutcracker scene is when Eren, as a Titan, takes the what's the head Titan? What's his jaw Titan? My goodness, head Titan. He takes the jaw
Does have
Titan,
a pretty big head.
rips off his limbs, and then uses his jaw as a nutcracker to break through the crystal that the Warhammer Titan was in. Brilliant.
Plus 5 was for combo points.
Yeah. What a good use of your resources. You don't just see an enemy, you see a nutcracker. Like, props to you. He just rips his limbs off. Yeah, very violent. Another scene I really liked was the table scene.
What is the table scene?
Good question, Raph. The table scene is when Eren talks to Mikasa and Armin, and, Mikasa can beat him in a fight. And, yeah, Eren.
Are you sure?
In a, combat fight, right?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think so. And Armin is smarter than Eren, right?
Are you sure about that?
So, yeah.
Just messing with you.
So what does Eren do? He decides to manipulate Mikasa and beat up Armin.
Just a class act. The kind of friend we all want.
No, it was very emotional. And it felt like Eren to me. I know you've always felt like Eren was he really cared about his friends, and I do think he does care about his friends. But at the same time, I also think he's treated them like dirt. And I know that I'm guessing my prediction is that he actually does feel bad about it. But I can't help but feel like, he's a little bit like that, in character.
I have always felt that he treats his friends poorly, but this was an instance where he actively chose to be an asshole to his friends. And that was what I had gripes with, where, again, this is just my reading of consuming this, but I hadn't seen anything to tell me that Eren had crossed that line until he demonstrated that he had crossed that line, and I took umbrage with that. Because I am a Castle fan, true, and I hate what has been done with her character. By what has been done with her character, I mean what has not been done with her character, which is anything. I've not done anything with
It turns out she belongs to a group of people in the mainland, right?
I'll say this once, and I'll say it 1,000 times. It can make perfect sense in the story, I can still hate it.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Eren. Because the biggest change in season 4, there's a huge world building, there's all these other nations, and, they all hate this nation.
Our main cast really took a backseat. Eren's still kind of shining through, but, the rest of them are just sort of really in the background as, they're building up this new cast. Which, again, is a very interesting choice for a final season. It's and drop all these characters you formed emotional attachments with. Here are these new guys.
Yeah. But, yeah, let's talk about Eren. You didn't like the transition so much of what he's become over the 4 years.
Is that how I felt about it? I actually don't remember how I felt about it. I feel like we've definitely had this conversation before our glorious podcasting days.
You should reread the essay you wrote in a text.
I delete my text, unfortunately.
Oh. I should read.
The next section of this podcast is brought to you by Read Along.
No, but your biggest gripes were that he's flipped quite a bit.
He definitely has. I think at this point I'm far enough removed from it that I'm just let's see what you do with it.
Okay.
But in the moment, trying to cast my mind back, I think that's how I felt a lot about it. It was when it opened, I was like, oh, he's doing this underground thing, that's cool. And then the more I see of him, he's just oh, Eren I know was this hot-headed, really angry person who was kind of, not so great to his friends and extremely one-track mind to a humongous fault. And this Eren has somehow become this really cold rage, calculating person. That's the thing that it's a weird sentence. I don't know if anyone's ever said. I don't think the way people express rage changes. Some people have cold anger and some people have hot anger. And the fact that the way he expressed his anger has changed, it's always felt weird to me. I'm like, this guy used to like just want to punch people, and now he's like, I will destroy the world, kind of thing. But I'm really quiet and calculating about this. And he's just kind of being mean. That's what I don't like about it. Like, he's just walking around actively choosing to be a mean person to everyone, and I don't see the point of it. Like, it's not like when the table scene you just talked about. There is a point he's trying to do something. That's why he's that's why he's manipulating them this way. But the rest of the time, he's just being mean. And I'm just like, when did Eren turn into just a mean person? He's always been kind of negligent and like focused on his own stuff. But like, why is he actively being mean?
Yeah, I can see that. For me, it made sense. It clicked for me because I guess I viewed Eren a little bit different in the earlier seasons. Like, to me, he was annoying at first, right? Mm-hmm. And so to me, he was always a meanie. Like, I could see his rage and it was uncontrolled. And that's like, this is a child who just has a lot of rage, doesn't know what she's doing. And the thing that made sense to me is that, like, obviously, if you were in a different side of the war, you just have the same rage, right? It doesn't matter where you are, you would have that rage, I think, ultimately. And so the idea that I saw over the seasons as it panned out was, first he finds out, Reiner and Bertolt are Titans, and that puts a bit of a jag in him. Oh, that's a word, right?
Jag
it
shakes
him. It shakes him a little bit, right? And he starts realizing things are not black and white, or like the enemy is not black and white. He realizes that the enemy is not who he thinks it is. At first, he just thinks it's Titans, and then he realizes, no, it's Reiner and Bertolt, my good friends. And then he realized there's a whole nation that just hates basically who he is, right? And he thinks they're the enemy. And I'm sure there's more there because, like, he talks to his brother. What's his brother's name?
You mean the blonde guy?
Yeah.
How if I remember?
Zeke.
Zeke.
So, and he talks to Zeke. Obviously, I think he's gotten a more gray about what the enemy truly is. But his rage kept shifting because he realizes the original rage he had was misplaced. Yeah, so and I do agree it's hard for a person to switch the way they carry out that anger, but for me it was consistent that he still has that anger.
Yeah. I think another thing I found not weird, just maybe wasn't my favorite choice, is we start off, when Attack on Titan start off, it's the classic shonen anime style where, we've got our little annoying protagonist kid, and then where Attack on Titan became interesting, other than like the shocking gore and violence, was the way it fleshed out, and like the story was not about Eren. Like, yes, he's a Titan and all this stuff, but it's the ensemble cast. It's Levi and Mikasa and Armin and all these people coming together to like do something.
For sure.
And they like all the political intrigue, which admittedly season 2 was not the most interesting thing in the world, but I appreciate that what they were going for. They were trying to like show like, hey, it's not just about this guy punching hard. There's things going on that need to be resolved, and I always like it when shows at least recognize that part exists. And then we get to season 4, which is probably the most political of all of them, right? Not necessarily like political, like intrigue, like season 2 was, but it's like, there's nations at play, there's factions, and then Eren has gone from being part of an ensemble cast to kind of back to being just the main guy who's like in control. And I guess I'm just like, oh, what about all our people? Like, what did Erwin die for? If Armin is just here chilling, like not being particularly helpful. Except for that one time he showed up in the harbor and blows up. It's like, the characters I know and love have stopped doing anything. In some cases, characters have died so they can still be alive. Like, so many things have gone on, and then I'm just like, I'm just here watching Eren be a doo-doo. I'm censoring myself so you don't have to censor me.
I love answering those censors.
He's just over here being like an asshole to his friends, and like his friends are just like falling into the shadow and not doing anything. I guess, I do have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where I was when we first left, and that's how I was feeling. Right now, I'm really more in frame of just, I'm going to see what they do, and I'll see what happens, but yeah.
All right, wow. We've talked extensively about Eren, which was kind of needed because he is the main character, and
I'm realizing that apparently this will last up to 20 minutes.
Let's move on now to predictions. Boom, boom, boom.
I have none. The show will end. That's my prediction.
Oh, wow.
Some people will die. Some people will be alive. There will be at least 2 fights.
So this concludes our episode. We hope you find our predictions interesting, intriguing, and you give them some mull over. No, question 1. Is Levi alive?
Yes.
You think so?
Absolutely. Will he die before the show is done? Yes. Is he alive right now? Yes.
I think he's alive, but I think he's crippled.
I disagree. My evidence? None.
Great. I think that moment there needs to be some consequence, so I think he's going to be crippled and he can't be as helpful as he used to be.
So we can talk a little bit about the trailer. There's a clip in the trailer where he looks like he's like on the ground, basically bleeding and dead. I think that's a red herring, but it is possible that the trailer showing he's going to die.
Okay. Is there something more to Zeke or the Beast Titan?
No. You're going to get firm answers from me.
For the record, I thought I caught it when the wine and like his liquid juice being in the...
When he put his juice in the wine? Go on.
The beast...
When the Beast Titan unleashed his juice into the wine. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Please continue.
Yes, well, you understand what I'm saying. I caught that.
Uh-huh.
I caught that. Because I figured there's a way that he is making Titans, right?
Of course, with his juice.
No! So I think there might be more to it, because at the last episode, so Eren and Peak have a discussion, and they talk about how, like, Zeke doesn't mention a lot about his Beast Titan powers. So I think there's more going on there.
Is your prediction here that there is more going on with Titan powers?
Well, specifically his.
Okay.
But I was hoping you would be able to come up with a prediction of what that power might be.
I think that he too has the power to control all things. Sorry, that's One Piece. The power to control other Titans.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, didn't they sort of go like the juice thing? Isn't that sort of it? Like,
I think there's more to it.
What else? What do you think there could be?
Well, because he's a Beast Titan. Like, he stands out. He stands out from other Titans. I think he might be a second form of Titan, or like a previous form of Titan. Maybe he was meant to be the what's the main Titan called? The most powerful one. You know, the Coordinator Titan?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Beast Titan was meant to be the original one, so it might be like a secondary.
So, I have said it. I'm not too concerned with where Titans came from. So, all the lore they gave me about, like, the past just sort of went in one year and left the other. Is there more to his powers? Probably. Just by nature of he has, like, an interesting design. Like, a lot of the Titans are pretty, like, whatever. Like, this one has great jaws. This one is a cart for some reason. I don't know. They're pretty lame. If we're being honest, they're pretty lame. Like, the armored, the Warhammer is pretty cool. Even the Colossal Titan is kind of lame. Armored Titan is pretty cool too. And the Coordinator is also kind of lame. He's just a coordinator. What I'm saying here is the Titans are lame. That's, I guess, my point.
Well, so Eren has 3 Titans right now.
Oh, I forgot that he was absorbing Titans.
He has the Attack Titan, right,
Mm-hmm.
which gives him the look he has, and there's the Coordinator Titan, which gives him the most powerful ability, and then he has the Warhammer Titan power, which we have not seen how
is Attack Titan different from the Coordinator Tech?
Yeah.
I thought the Coordinator was just an ability in the bloodline.
The Coordinator Titan is the Founder Titan.
Huh. Oh, yeah, no, it's coming back to me.
Yeah,
it's coming back to me. Interesting. Okay, I mean, there might be more with the Beast Titan. Again, just by sheer, he has a design that's cool. I don't know what it would be. Like, I have no idea. Something to do with controlling animals. Maybe it's just more his juice can do.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Third question. Will Reiner get his wish of dying?
Yes. It's just TV writing. If anyone's been pining after death for 4 seasons, they're gonna die. Just kill him.
You sure?
Yes. 100% he's dead.
It'd be hilarious if everyone else dies and he's still alive.
He would then kill himself because that's what he would do.
Okay. okay. You're right. There is no way out for Reiner. He's gonna get his wish of dying.
We'll be so wrong.
Another thing. So at the end of season 4, part 2, there are 3 teams. The Jaegerists. Part 1. There are the Jaegerists, the Marleys, and the good guys, or
What the hell are the Jaegerists?
The Jaegerists are the ones who believe in what the Jaegers are doing.
Do they actually call themselves Jaegerists?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And who are we calling the good guys? Is this anyone who doesn't fall into either of those buckets?
No. You go to the
Marley,
the Islanders.
and other?
The Islanders.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think will happen there? Will any of them team up against other ones?
I think that the Islanders are going to get screwed. That's my prediction.
You don't think they're going to win?
I don't think anyone's going to win. I think this is going to end with like a lot of this is the consequences of war, especially when people have just been fighting for generations and don't even remember why they're fighting. It's bad for everyone.
Really? So it's just doomed for tragedy.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tragic ending with potentially even that kind of like it ends and nothing has changed.
Really?
Like that. That's my prediction. They will re-establish the status quo. Like the status quo at the beginning of the season, of season 1, will be re-established. So probably going to be wrong, but that's my prediction.
No, you be confident in your answer.
That's exactly what's going to happen. I am an expert at TV watching, and I know this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think Marley and the Islanders would team up against the Jaegerists. Because really it was Eren Jaeger and Zeke Jaeger who really did the whole operation. And like the biggest threat, let's be honest, when somebody is a Founder Titan and a Warhammer Titan, like...
He hasn't really used those powers though.
Not yet.
I would expect that he doesn't have very good control over it. Because it took him a while to really get down the attack Titan. And like, the Warhammer Titan's abilities are a bit more complex than running a bunch of people. So
so he might not be perfect with it. He might be a little bit novice. But like, if Zeke and Eren get together, Zeke makes Titans, Eren controls them, right?
Yeah.
Which will be like they will be the biggest enemies at that point. Which I do. Do you think they will get together?
Zeke and I think
Eren.
They're destined to be enemies.
Eren and Zeke?
Yes. I know that they're currently working together, but I think they're destined to be enemies.
Why is that?
I have no idea. I couldn't put my finger on why, but something about it, I'm just like, I don't think you guys are actually on the same page, even though you think you're on the same page.
Interesting. Zeke would make a good antagonist.
I mean, he's been antagonisting for the entirety of season 4, so...
Yeah, I guess so. In the trailer and in the season 4 part 1 credits, we see a tree or something.
I'm sure if you pull up a picture of this tree, I probably still wouldn't remember the tree, so that's all I got for you.
It was in the trailer.
Was it?
In the very beginning.
You talking about the white thing? Is that a tree?
That's the tree.
That's not a tree.
That's
a white thing.
It has branches.
Yeah, lots of things have branches.
Name one thing other than a tree that has branches.
Your veins. Your entire circulatory system is branches of veins and arteries.
I thought you were going to say my company.
Also that.
That's metaphorical. Okay, fair enough. I think it's tree. I think it's because he mentions 2,000 years and stuff. I think we're going to get a couple of Christian themes. So I think it's like a tree of life thing.
There's going to be Christian themes in this?
I mean, you saw the religious cult.
Just looking at it from a glance, it just seemed to me like I don't think he was in a physical location. It just felt like he was standing like in his own head or something like that, finally accessing the memories of the original Titan or something like that, and then he's saying, like, after all this time, finally someone has access to you and is doing something you want or something. It didn't look like he was in a physical place, but if you're saying it was in the opening credits of the first one, then maybe it is. In which case,
it was in the closing credits.
The closing credits?
There's no opening credits. Well, wait, is there such a thing as an opening credits?
I mean,
I guess
the opening.
Well, but is it credits?
I mean, they have credits in it. They often do.
I guess so. Okay. The closing credits. Historia. She's
pretty whatever.
We're given one scene with her in part 1.
Really? We were given a scene with her?
She's preggo and on a chair.
Oh, yeah. And I think she will continue to be preggo and on that chair.
Do you think who's the father?
Probably Eren for some stupid reason.
Well,
I'm just ready to be upset by that.
We've seen a spark in their relationship.
I don't understand what anyone would be attracted to in Eren, but sure. But sure.
Eren's a confident guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I think I agree with you. I think Eren's the father. Even if Eren dies, I feel like somehow the Jaeger race will continue through Historia.
Jaeger bombastic!
Right? I think there's something there also about like the elite blood having the Titan power. Right? Yeah, Historia's bloodline
had it. And it got passed into Eren because, his dad did some munchy. And now they're pretty much remixing that bloodline. I don't think it's going to be strong or anything.
Well, the founder Titan's powers are fully realized in Historia's bloodline. So true. Eren's more of a coordinator, right? Like he can control Titans, but I don't think he can just change people's physique. What are those people Islanders called again? Because like in season 4, part 1, Zeke is talking to the previous Beast Titan, and they talk about how the founder Titan was able to just erase people's minds, so they biologically modified all human beings, so that Eren can't do that, I don't think.
Which is just broken on all levels.
Yeah.
How did they lose with powers like that? You have to be thinking about like some of the poor choices these people must have made. True. So, but like his Titan powers aren't passed down to his kid or whatever. So like really all he's doing is reintroducing the coordinator gene back to where the coordinator gene came from. Unless his kid eats him or something.
You're giving me a new thought. Okay. What happens if a baby eats a person with the Titan power?
You get an unfortunate Titan. And a very full baby.
Yeah, okay. Do you think you like season 4? How do you think it will end? That's the final prediction.
My final prediction was reinstate status quo. We end up exactly where we started off.
Interesting.
None of this has been helpful, and really just put them back in the wall.
Really?
Which would actually be that would fall on the controversial ending.
I think there will be lots of death.
Okay.
No, I'm
work your way up to it.
I think Eren, somebody's going to get to use the full Founder Titan power.
Who?
It's somebody in Historia's bloodline, presumably.
They'd have to kill Eren for that, no?
Yep.
Okay, so Eren's gonna die.
I think that's quite plausible. I mean, we've shown that Eren's the antagonist and the protagonist. He's the hero, anti-hero. He's like all kinds of different things at the same time.
He's the protagonist.
He's also the antagonist.
Antagonist is not a bad guy. Antagonist is just someone who's acting against the protagonist. Eren is the protagonist. Doesn't mean he's a good guy.
He's also the antagonist.
Who's
Well, if he's the protagonist, who's acting against the protagonist? The antagonist himself.
New theory. This entire thing is taken on Eren's mind. Actually, what happened was his mother got bitten by a Titan, and he just broke down. And he's been in like a jail cell this entire time, and everything we've been watching is a figment of his imagination.
That's not just controversial. That's just downright lazy writing. No, it will not be that.
Are you saying I don't have a future in anime writing?
I think he will die. Remains to see what friends will die. I think it's possible that Falco, the little kid, will live, if anything. And I don't think things will go back to the same. I think they will be changed forever by whatever Eren does. I think he's going to do something that changes everything forever, and then die.
I agree. He's definitely going to die. I agree. He's definitely going to do something impactful, then die. I just think that impactful thing will be staying the status quo.
True.
I'm tripling down on this theory that doesn't really make sense.
No. So one thing I liked from season 3, a lot of things I liked, but Edwin was asked a question of like, or he said, like, somebody once asked, like, when will humans stop fighting? And the answer was when there's one or less people.
Yep.
So in your defense, if that's what the writer's going for, there will always be the status quo until there's one or less human beings.
Yeah. I think Mikasa survives, for sure. I'm 50-50 on if Armin dies.
Yeah, Mikasa will probably survive.
Survive to be really sad about Anna dying for some reason. Eren, put on your sweater, Eren. But did you wrap your scarf twice, Eren? Did you wear socks today, Eren? Freaking character assassination. They assassinated their own character.
Yeah. Well, that's our predictions. For you guys who have read the end of the story, I hope you guys had a good time.
Let us know in the comments down below. Tell us the ending. I'm telling them to do this because I don't think there's... Oh, I guess they could like leave a review. Or they could just like tweet at us the ending. But I probably wouldn't see it.
Tell us if we're dumb. How about that?
Well, I mean, the answer to that is just yes.
Tell us if we're dumber than we think we are.
That's a good one.
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh man. This episode is brought to you by...
Titan Snacks?
Titan Snacks?
Yeah.
No.
Human beings.
Okay. On that note...
Get your human being on discount at your local Titan grocery store.
It might be brought to you by potatoes. Oh no, Sasha's dead. Oh, I'm sad again.
It is not brought to you by potatoes, that's for sure.
Potato Girl is gone forever. Alright. Goodbye, everyone.
Enjoy Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2.
Or don't.